What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Life by the Slice, where we are taking life one slice at a time. Alrighty, welcome back, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate all the love, all of the support. Life by the Slice is doing amazing, and it's all thanks to Team Salim. Thank you guys so much. Alrighty, so let me just get this timer turned on so I'm not rambling and talking too much. Alrighty, and we are going to start now. Alrighty, once again, thank you so much for joining me back on Life by the Slice. Like I said, where we are taking life one slice at a time. I left back to my HIV story. I wanted to just to gather you guys back around, just so we can actually wrap this up. And I plan on wrapping this up within this video and possibly a next video, just so we could get to more fun topics. I don't want to use this channel to be a downer or always tell a sad story. No. You guys know me. I like to have fun too. So, with getting back to that, I remember in video 6, unfortunately, that video was a cutout as well. And I left off talking about how me and my husband's marriage was really at its end. And I'm just going to get back into the story and telling you guys how the blessings that came about afterwards, and how I still came out victorious despite an HIV diagnosis and facing divorce and 2 other illnesses that we're going to get to in this video. So wrapping up, from the last video, I recall leaving off letting you guys know that by the time I ended up moving to CS2, which was upstairs in treatment, I remember solely giving my husband a phone call, and this is a little touchy, but being brave helps me heal. So I remember him telling me that he had found messages while I was in treatment, messages that he wasn't really necessarily proud of, which I understand why he wasn't proud of, because it was due to my infidelity and my cheating and my lying and everything that came along with addiction. So I solely recall him saying to me, we got on the phone, and I was asking him how his health was since his severe surgery for diverticulitis, and he was out. This was a severe surgery. He was out. He was drugged up. He was on all sorts of meds. So he told me specifically he didn't even remember this conversation. So he ended up telling me, I don't like the messages and the things that I found in your Facebook and your Messenger. And I didn't know what he was talking about, and I kept trying to repeat to him that I don't know what you're talking about. It's not true. And all up until a point where, now this is where the next 2 illnesses tie in. Whereas I'm thinking, since I'm completely off alcohol, that my problems are completely gone. I have no more issues. I just need to work on my drinking issue and move forward. But I solely recall getting into an argument with him, and I ended up blacking out. Completely blacking out. And I was in rehab flipping tables, throwing phones. Everything that I had done in blacking out after this conversation with my husband, I should have been kicked out of treatment, because that's how bad it was. Which, it was a breakdown so bad that I think I would have worried you guys. I think I would have worried all of you guys. And so moving forward, this episode that I have was so bad, to the point that the counselors at Tara's house found it necessary that I speak to a psychiatrist and now add mental health counseling into my agenda, which I wasn't necessarily against, but I was so in denial and so fresh and so sick and so not myself at this time. I didn't want it, but I chose to take it anyway because I felt like all the help that I'm getting in treatment will be valuable to my recovery. So I gave it a chance. And just 1 second, I just want to check my timer. Like I said, I don't want to keep you guys too long. And well, the timer messed up, so we're just going to continue this story. So the counselors figured that it was best for me to finally seek mental health help, which I did. And 2-3 days later, after this phone conversation that I have with my husband, like I said, in our marriage we're still on the outs. Everything's still bad, but I recall meeting the psychiatrist, and his name was Joshua Mora. And within our first meeting, we spoke for an hour. I got everything off my chest, and within an hour, this man already had a diagnosis ready. Well, 2 diagnoses. One was definite, and one was just loosely because he wasn't able to watch me over the course of time, which he was able to while I was in treatment. But the first diagnosis I got was severe PTSD, which I'm thinking to myself, PTSD is more of a military issue, or a woman going through domestic violence kind of issue. But I didn't give myself credit for the trauma I was put through in life involuntarily, and the trauma that I put myself through on my own. And by the time I got done with my story with Mr. Murrah, I blew my own mind, because I didn't really understand, or I really didn't give myself credit, but I didn't really pay attention to how much I was struggling, and how much I did struggle, and how much all of these things that I went through growing up and in teenage years with family, whatever the case may have you, rapes, molestation, drug use, I couldn't see it. So I'm sorry, you guys. Like I said, getting those flashbacks. So he not immediately, but after that hour, he diagnoses me with severe PTSD. Which, as time went on, I started to understand, and once I had the awareness, I started to understand where this man was coming from, and why he was right. Which, the next diagnosis, which is a diagnosis that something that I've been called my entire life, but I had never really given any kind of forethought, because I've never really given any kind of forethought, because these are just words used, and you don't really take everything to heart. But the second diagnosis Mr. Murrah had given me was bipolar 1 disorder. I was kind of confused, like, I don't know what you mean. I don't get it. And he gave me that diagnosis loosely, but over the course of 2-3 weeks, he gave me a definite diagnosis, which I will get more into. I'll post videos. Yeah, I'll post videos about bipolar disorder and PTSD, because I know I'm not the only one going through this. And I know there are a lot of you out there that could really use the education and use the help. So that's what I'm here for, you guys. Team Celine. But he gave me that diagnosis, and shortly after that, I started taking medication for bipolar disorder and PTSD. I started taking a medication called Seroquel, which I swear up and down on to this day, it works wonders for me. It works great. It doesn't get me high or anything like that. It works as sleep medicine, but then it builds up in your system as a mood stabilizer and has helped me wonders. I don't use my medication as a crutch, but I work with my medication. So I let the medicine do its part, but then I also do my part as well. But moving forward, now I have not only one, but three health diagnoses, which completely rocked my world, and is a lot of the reason why I did seek change, and I did change. Because now that I had the awareness of the illnesses that I was going through, it made it easier for me to become proactive in my recovery. So God was definitely on my side, which I really was still hitting rock bottom, and I knew I asked God for help, but not this kind of help. But God knows what He's doing. I trust Him. My faith is very strong, which you guys know. But moving forward, I make it through treatment. Me and my husband are still on the outs. I spent 40 days in treatment, which is, a month and a half in treatment. Me and my husband, even after treatment, we spent 2.5 months. So altogether, we spent 4 months separated. And if that wasn't the hardest time in my life, being without my baby, I don't know what is. But despite my husband, I still had a life to live. So whether he was leaving me